Talk about Mexican Independence Day. We can call this Teddy Atlas here in Las Vegas, Nevada. You heard it from the champion himself, knocking out the competition.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I'm your host, Richard Ortiz of The Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters. And like our guest today, he's simply knocking out the competition. Ladies and gentlemen, the new super lightweight champion of the world, the WBA champion of the world, the one, the only, Antoine Russell. Welcome to The Fighter's Voice, Antoine.
Hey, Richard, man, I appreciate you inviting me onto your show. I'm telling you, man, it's a pleasure and an honor.
Well, thank you, man. The pleasure is all mine just to have you coming off that victory and sensational victory. I mean, you took apart a person that just had his way with Pitbull Cruz, which was a good fight. And you seem to find the antidote, the answer to continue to not just win a couple rounds, but apply yourself and then slowly start to take over. And Jose Valenzuela, awesome technician himself, and I know you trained hard and you want to show the whole entire world exactly who you are. And now that WBA strap is going to give you that platform to show the entire planet who you are.
You know, thank you for that level of recognition. And honestly, y'all have still yet to see me. Like, I'm still blossoming, and it's not because I feel as though that I'm just less of. Obviously, I got the WBA. You know, I'm a world champion, but I feel like a person that is in his mindset on believing that they are the best. It's good to be the best or feel like you're the best, but when you really center your mentality on you're the best, there's nothing else that you need to be taught because you're the best. That's when you really limit yourself. You know, so I try to keep that cap off of my lid, you know, whereas though you can always pour into me. It's always more to learn. So, like I said, I'm doing stuff in the gym that I still haven't exposed to the world, and I will soon before you know it. You know, I just got to keep getting the great opportunities and keep being successful. But shout out to Rayo Venezuela because he is a great competition, great competitor. He made Pitbull look average, you know, not take nothing away from Isaac Cruz or whatnot, but everybody has flaws. And he just exploited Isaac Cruz's flaws. And not everybody can make the adjustments. But I'm just glad that I came out on top. I was the victorious one the night of the fight. And I was able to make those adjustments that needed to be made dealing with Venezuela. You know, so like I said before, more to see. I'm always going to be open to learn more. And I'm just trying to take over the 140 division. That was always something that I said I was going to do anyway.
I mean, just the whole team, you know, I mean, they gave you your respect. You know, team Robert Garcia gave you total respect. They know who they have in Arrayo and knowing that you refuse to let him get back into the fight. Whenever he would have, you know, his uppercuts working or giving you angles and everybody thinking, okay, now he's back into this, you refuse to allow him to believe that he can actually win this fight. Was that part of your game plan? Did you think did you think you always had his number going in? Did his style fit your style the way you wanted it to?
I mean, honestly, that's kind of like a trick question. It's kind of like a trick question. First, I want to answer the fact that I didn't want to let him get his momentum. It's not a good thing for you to let anyone get their momentum. You know, because once they start getting their momentum, that's when they find their true comfort zone. They find their range. A lot of times when you get in there, fighters, they can't find their range. So you see them like lunging, overshooting their punches and stuff like that. Or sometimes just missing just by an inch because they can't find their range. But all of that comes back to a level of comfort zone. Getting there, finding their momentum, you know, finding that comfort and getting your momentum. I did not want to let him get that. You know, he coming up from 35, still can pack a punch, you know, and a lot of things that stood out to me was that he still had some firm punching power from round 1 all the way to round 12. You know, it wasn't no, oh shit, like he hits hard, but
Yeah.
it was hard enough. It was hard enough to say, don't get hit with that again. You know, and that was from round 1 to 12. So I didn't want to let him get his momentum to the point he started getting too comfortable. You know, I wanted to make him uncomfortable with my speed and etc. The tactics. Now, the next question that I want to address is that you said, was my game plan fit for his style? Now, you got to realize something. Everybody, A side and B side, prepare for an opponent, I say 2 months or a month prior to, and the most they can go off of is your last fight or your last couple of fights, and they see what you do wrong. I didn't go off of that, but it's an X factor within all of that. Let's say the night of the fight, I just come and fight completely different. I fight completely different from what you normally used to seeing me fight. Like that style is no longer there anymore. I'm just doing something completely different. It will throw you off, you know, and that's something that we all got to take into consideration. Like, yeah, we preparing for this guy. He got these flaws. He leave this hand down, or he always rush in. He's a brawler or whatever. That's what you prepare for. So you're probably training to counter or to be on your dance like Muhammad Ali or
Yep.
something like that. But let's say I just change my whole entire game plan and just get extremely crafty. Start becoming a slick fighter versus a brawler. Or I become a brawler instead of a boxer.
Well, yeah, as you know, that's a key. The key is to be able to adapt and impose your will on another
Exactly.
human being. And even if you do got a game plan, but if you see something that's open, you're going to be able to adapt and make that transition. That's what great fighters do. You were so slick in there, and after 6 rounds, you proved to everybody you were the boss inside that ring.
Really. I
That's
was
the way
just
I
in the
saw it.
zone, you know. I was just in the zone. I was trying to stay focused and follow the instructions that was given to me. To be honest, you know, some of the stuff was just happen naturally.
Being in a zone and having fun in there, that's the same thing, because you love what you do and you do it
I do.
well, and because you're in that zone. There's some nights that, it doesn't matter who they put you in with. It could be Superman and you're going to beat them that night. There's just some nights that are
There
just
you go.
beautiful. I mean, you can't even recall what's going on because it's just so much beautiful muscle movement in there. It's like a classical music.
Exactly, and everything just like in sync. It's just go together, you know. And that's honestly how it was. It was a point in time that I didn't get frustrated, but I got mad. My mouthpiece fell out, and I saw him see me. Like we both seen my mouthpiece fall out. We both looked at it at the same time. Like we looked down at it, and I thought he was gonna have like some type of courtesy, and he punched me. And he punched me. And I was about to get too emotional to the point. I'm like, okay, we already fighting. I can't get too mad, but
Yeah,
I'm about to light fire to you for real now. You know, and I started walking at him. I just locked my hands and I started walking and I started touching real hard to the body coming upstairs, you know, just applying more aggression and more pressure. And you'll hear in my corner saying, what they were saying, get back on your stick, recenter yourself, get back on your stick, reset. So hearing them say get back on my stick, recenter myself, and reset, automatically I would I would tell myself, okay, I'm running downhill. I'm running downhill. And
that's
that's
right.
a terminology that me and my family use because I don't know if you ever done it before. Like you ever ran down the hill and you
Yes.
trying to like keep up with yourself to the point your feet start moving on its own, like you're moving too fast for yourself. We
Yeah.
call that running downhill. And a lot of times that come from you just having picking up momentum by going downhill and you're just trying to find your footing. We look at that and we use that terminology. We look at the fact that I'm getting emotional and I'm just doing things too borderline, like too recklessly. Don't get too reckless because you can be winning a fight and you get hit with a clean shot and you're looking at the lights. So they was telling me, man, look, reset yourself, get back on your jag, because they seen where my mental was going. Like, nah, I'm about to hurt this guy, bro. We gotta fix this problem. He just hit me with my mouthpiece. Well,
That is great advice coming from your corner. You actually took my question away because I was going to ask, what did your corner tell you to put you over the top? Did they ever tell you, hey, you're winning this fight easy, or hey, we got to win these close rounds, or hey, we gave them that last round, we got to win this next round? What was the turning point in your mind where your corner said, you know what, okay, it's off and cooking now?
it was really never no turning point. You know, we was always we was raised up on certain tactics and certain understanding. And one of the main things is fight from bing to bing. You got to be set from bing to bing. Now, a lot of people, their focus span starts to slimming when they either feel as though they ahead of the game, like they're winning the fight,
Yeah.
or they just get fatigued. You know, like your
Yeah.
body start getting fatigued, and their focus span is just kind of like starts swiveling away. Now your response isn't as sharp
Now
and stuff like that.
that comes with both mentally fatigue if you're not focused, and physically fatigue if you just not, if you're gasping because you might be trying too hard, or you're missing too many punches, or you're out of your range, like you said. So you got to gather
Right,
yourself, fix your feet, but most of all, you got to fix that mind.
right, and that's what's going to help you, cross all your T's and dot your I's. Like you said, your range is a little off. You're galloping in. The process of you fixing those problems starts up here. So the mental fatigue is what we're really talking about, being set mentally from ding to ding. When the round start, ding, that whole 3 minutes until you hit the next ding, you got to be focused. You got to be laser focused. You can't fall asleep in there. You can't get fatigued. Your focus man got to last from ding to ding every round, from round 1 to 12. And we've been raised on that, and it's been doing us good. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I
That's
feel like
right.
that's a valuable point in the sport of boxing anyway. Especially if
I,
you want to
I
be a world champion, you got to have that level of mental focusedness.
When did you realize in the fight that you know what, hey, that you were a problem for him? That you realize, hey, I'm having my way. I'm able to do what I want to do in here.
The moment they said I got disappointed, the fight was won before it was won. To be honest, but we're not gonna rely on just that. We're not gonna rely on just that because back in the days, Sugar Ray Leonard, you would have what they were doing 15 rounds. You have a 15-round
Yeah,
tragedy.
yeah,
You won all 14 rounds, and you was probably winning the last 15 round. But
yeah.
30 seconds away from the round going bing, you relax mentally and you got caught with a shot. It don't take
You know what?
much. It don't take much. So that's when we knew who was up. We're like, all right, round 12 was over. We got this. We put all the things that we need to do in the bank. We got this.
Well, that was your game plan, and you ran it out. And the main thing is you let it run its course. You didn't try to try anything else, anything different, because like you said, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
hmm hmm
I'm
And
gonna
I'm
ask
proud of
you.
myself.
I'm gonna ask you a deep question, and this is a shout out to my partner Shelly Hollis, who he has a podcast. It's called The Black Corner, and we go back and forth. We talk all the time, and I keep it 100, man. Uh, That's why
Okay.
you're on the show, because I keep it 100. It's a
Okay.
deep question, and I wanted you to give it some thought.
Oh,
Why is it that Mexican Americans have trouble with black fighters? Why is it? Is that because the speed? Is that because the angles? Is that the movement? Why do you think that is?
tradition is tradition. I feel like Latino fighters, which is the true terminology, not just Mexican Latino. Uh, they go by traditional fighting styles, and it's culture based, but it's also a zeitgeist. Now, a zeitgeist is no one has an original thought or wrapped in a nutshell. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you got a podcast, you got the gloves, you got the belt, you got the pictures in the background, you got it looking decked out. I want to do the same idea. I want to do the same thing, but my idea came from your idea. That's what the zeitgeist is. And I feel like the Latino community and culture, they all have a certain style versus Africans. We got a different swag about us. We got access to a different type of energy, and it makes us move a certain way. Latinos, Latinas know how to dance. So do Africans, but we dance differently.
Yeah.
Put the same song on, but we would still dance differently, and it's due to a certain level of repetition and just a culture background, And I feel ultimately like that's what it truly is, and I don't think it's a problem. You just got to empty your cup. Canelo
That's right.
Alvarez, he's a Latino. I
Yeah.
feel like after he done fought Floyd Mayweather, it done opened his mind to another level of creativity on how to deal with situations. So
Yeah.
now, if I deal with a fighter that fight like this, I know I can do this. If I deal with a fighter that fight like that, I know I can do that. If I deal with a fighter that fight like Floyd Mayweather again, I know what to do now. And that's what makes Canelo so great now. He
Yes.
understands. No, but naturally, I feel like that's just my take on it. Naturally, I feel like culture based wise, repetition wise, it goes hand in hand. We try to just do things based off of how everyone else is doing it. And that's just something that I'm used to.
Okay. I want to pick your brain a little bit. Say you were a manager, say you were a trainer, and
Mm.
you had a Mexican fighter, a Mexicano. Now you're going to prepare him. He's getting ready to fight a black fighter. Would you bring in black fighters inside the gym because the angles are different, the speed is different, or would you continue just to train him the way he is with some of his colleagues that are also Mexicano or some that are white? Would you bring an African American in the gym to prepare your fighter for that agility once the bell rings?
Perfect word, agility. We move different. Like I said, we just move different. And yes, if I was a coach, I will prepare my fighter for what's out there. Now, you'll be a poor coach if you fail to prepare them for
Yes.
many different things that's going to approach them come battle time. You don't want your fighter to be one dimensional, all said and done. You know what I mean? You got long fighters, you got brawlers, you got skills like stylistic fighters that want to be pretty, do all this movement and stuff like that, and tricks and stuff, head feints, skip backing and doing all this. You want to prepare your fighter for all of these things, so when y'all do
Absolutely.
go to combat, nothing would really shock them. You wouldn't be caught off guard, and it would be easier for that student of yours to then make that transition from the things y'all do in the gym over into the fight. A lot of
Absolutely.
people are like
I agree.
gym champions. Yeah, some fighters is
Yeah.
gym champions, but when it
Yeah,
comes
that's
to a
right.
fight,
Yeah.
it's like, god damn it, didn't we learn this in the gym?
Yeah.
Like, you can't
Yeah.
do it in a fight, like, yeah, because they haven't made that transition.
I'd rather have my fighter get frustrated in the gym and not be able to solve it in the gym than that happened the day of the fight. That way we could fix it. But
Right,
I
at least he'll be familiarized with it.
yeah, exactly. He can prepare
You know
himself to
what I
get
mean?
frustrated or else find the answer of cutting the ring off somehow.
There you go. There you go. So that's like I said, that's my intake on it. But it's a lot of things I could say, but I'm just trying to like sum it all up.
I appreciate you taking on that question. You know, a lot of people um, don't know how to react to that question. And I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of podcasters don't have the balls to ask you that question.
Oh, that's crazy. They ain't being real, like you said already. Like, you keep it real, man. That's why you got me here. We're gonna keep it riding on that wave. That's it.
That's right. That's it. And we're gonna ride it all the way, all the way. Now, before we move forward in our career, are you considered, or would you, if the date was right, or did you already take care of business? Would you run it back with Valenzuela if it meant sense, if there was an opportunity?
I'm glad you said that. If it makes sense, yeah. Uh, Isaac Cruz didn't get an immediate rematch. You know what I mean? Me
Yeah.
personally, I want to unify immediately.
Okay. So now you're talking to the likes of Teofimo, Ryan Garcia, and Arnold Barboza, who has a 140-pound world title. Uh,
Negative.
Devin Haney.
Negative.
I'm sorry, Devin Haney.
Teofimo,
Teofimo.
or Alberto Pollo. I really want Alberto Pollo. I told
Okay.
him, I said, I don't even care if you lose. I still want to rematch you because you got a win over me, and now
Yeah.
it's personal. You know, I still gotta go through.
I was gonna bring him up. I'm glad you did.
Yeah, I still got to go through my journey and execute the goal, the game plan, and that's to make sure that I do everything in my power to become undisputed. I want all of the titles. Teofimo, he got something coming up. You got other contenders out there that's trying to earn their keeps. That might be mandatories or whatnot, whatever. But me personally, I want Alberto Pollo.
Well,
And
I'm
now
sure.
he got the belt. He got the belt still.
Yeah. So we got to be rooting for him that no one else dethrones him. Just say, well, hey, he's on mine. I want him. I want him. And that fight makes sense.
I want him. I want him right now. You talk about I'm saying it right now. I'm saying it right here. I want
Right
Alberto
here on the only
Pollo.
voice that matters, the fighter's voice, brother. That's right. We're gonna make that one happen. And hey, we're gonna post it. We're gonna tag him until he gets irritated or says, "Yeah, let's make it happen."
Don't care. I'm gonna be like that fly in his ear. Like,
That
fight me,
doesn't let him
punk.
sleep. Exactly. You know, since you brought up Teofimo Lopez, and he has a tough fight May 2nd against Arnold Barboza. It got kind of out of hand at the press conference. I think that fight should be moved up to at least the co-main event. I mean, you got Ryan Garcia against Rolly in the main event. Who do you have in that fight, and why? Break that down. I'm gonna your analysis now. I want to know exactly what does it take for Teofimo to be successful to defend, and also for Arnold Barboza to defend his belt as well.
I mean, now Teofimo, he's New York bound,
Yeah,
you know, but a lot of his career was taking place in Florida, in a basically a tropical area where you have fighters from all races.
yeah,
It was sometimes he was training there with Cuban fighters. Now Cubans, they're real crafty. You know, they're real crafty. He went to the Olympics, so he dibbled and dabbled in dealing with Azerbaijanian fighters, Argentinian fighters, Afro American fighters. So he got a big variety of being like accustomed to seeing different things, and he's
Yeah.
been making adjustments. He's been making adjustments. All I can say is fight your fight. He's very talented. He's been definitely showing that he got skills, like raw skills, raw skills. Now,
Yeah.
everybody can throw a jab, a left cross, a left hook, and some body shots on both sides. But who put it together and makes it look good?
Yeah.
Who put it
Exactly.
together and makes it look professional? I feel like he's been doing what he needs to do to make it look professional, make it look good. He's been bringing flavor. Now, if he get too big headed, he might get caught with a shot. That goes for anybody. Those little gloves on, 8-ounce gloves. I feel like a female can put on some 8-ounce gloves and wind up a big punch and hit you in the right spot. She gonna put you in your butt. Guaranteed.
I agree. I agree. The human chin is
Guaranteed.
made to take that type of pressure.
Exactly. So be defensive discipline, but other than that, fight your fight. I don't think Barbosa have the skill set that Teofimo Lopez have. So
Yeah.
I'm rooting for Teofimo, even though I'm a little upset because social media wise, he been saying a couple of racial little slurs that I don't condone.
No, I don't, I, you got to be careful on anything that's even close to anything racial. You clarify that. Don't even, there's, find a different example. That's all there is to it. Don't start using stereotypes and other things. Use a different example, because the last thing you
That's
want
that's
is
my, that's
something
my
weird
point.
to come out of your mouth and people think weird things.
I don't even think that was just weird. I think that was blunt. Bananas, really?
Hey, I
Come
can't
on, man.
justify
Come
nothing
on,
for
man.
him. It is what it is. He said what he said, and and you're not the only person that has confronted him or has concerns. I'm going to be honest with you. Again, I'm going to refer back to my friend Shelly Hollis, who runs the Black Corner. Was a fan, big fan of Teofimo. Doesn't want any harm to him, but he lost a lot of credibility with my buddy Shelly on how he thinks about those remarks personally.
See, and I don't know, and it's crazy because I look at him like a brother, almost like the brother from another mother. We went through the Olympics together. We both fought from the losers bracket together. Our amateur career, we've been going through a lot of tournaments, becoming outstanding champions together.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I know him to be, you know, uh, I wouldn't say a wild card, but a harmonious person.
Yeah,
But that was kind of like crossing the line. That was kind of
oh,
crossing the line. So I would like to talk to him personally to find out what the content really was. Like, how did he really say it and use it and mean it?
yeah.
Because outside looking in, it's just like, all right, he using the race. He taking the race card a little too deep now. What's up with you?
I like the fact that you said I would like to sit down with him and talk to him, and that's the way men handle things. That way you feel better about who you are, and just to clarify, so you're not thinking anything to the left or to the right. You said I just want to sit down with him and find out exactly what are you thinking, what are you saying, what do you mean, and then squash it, and then move on from there.
Right, for sure. I mean, I'm not gonna let this, you know, little spill ruin what we have, but it definitely would make me conduct myself with you differently if you did mean it in this sense. I'm
I
not
agree with you.
going to have no true feelings and have actions behind these feelings up until I really understand. Like I'm not about to just act on something and I don't have the full understanding on it.
You know what? I
So
I,
let's sit down and talk first.
I remember back in the day, Larry Merchant, legend. I love Larry Merchant, and Oscar De La Hoya was playing some mariachi music, which is Mexican music. And Larry Merchant on HBO said that music sucks. When he did that, I didn't have time to think like, what do you mean by that? Okay, you don't like it? Because I would probably say in my own style, country music sucks, but that doesn't mean I'm racist. I just don't like it. That's just me. I'd rather eat a mayonnaise sandwich. I don't get along. I can't get down with country music.
Another
But
mayonnaise
that doesn't
sandwich.
instead, but that doesn't mean, it's racist. So when he said that, I'm thinking, wow. And I remember for a while, Oscar wasn't letting him interview him. And, a couple fights later, I guess, they hashed it out and it is what it is. Mariachi's played one time and Larry was kind of digging it. He said, hey, I want to keep my job.
Got
I'm going
you.
to dig it.
Man. Well, I'm glad that did go that way because it's kind of like it's moving in the same direction for me. It's like, dang,
Yeah.
I don't want to take no harm or like inflict no harm. Is what I really mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
verbally or physically. Because who knows? What if I bring something to your attention and you get out of hand with me? It's like,
Yeah.
damn, all respect that went out the window now.
Yeah. That wouldn't be good for any professional, to be honest with you. Now, here's my thing. And then we're going to move on to a different fighter because then I want to pick your brains and talk to you about some other things before we call it a wrap.
That's
Um,
cool.
I don't know what Teofimo is going to show up. Is it going to be a Teofimo who truly believed 100% I could beat Lomachenko? And a lot of people said that, but he did it. He got the fight and he did it. Or is it the Teofimo that showed up and defeated Josh Taylor and was just having his way in there? He was having fun. He was having angles. Or is it going to be, a fighter that's, I thought he had a bad outing against Jamal Ortiz. Not to take anything away from Ortiz. I just wish Ortiz could have let his hands go, if he really wanted truly that fight. And Arnold Barboza, I'm going based off his last two performances. Jose Ramirez, beautiful boxing. Jack Catterall went to the UK to make things happen. And I'm just glad the judges got it right this time.
I mean, styles make fights. That's always the case. Gotta consider that. I look at the face off and stuff like that, and I see two hungry fighters. I see two hungry fighters, and one thing I can say about Teofimo Lopez is when he got a challenge, 9 times out of 10 he shows up.
Yes, he does.
Like when someone is pushing his buttons, he come to fight.
Yes, he does.
He comes to fight. And he got to make a dumb mistake in in the midst of him trying to take over and get hit with a shot, being showing like a lack of defensive discipline or something like that. That's the only thing I can say to that, But for the most part, I believe the Teofimo that fought Lomachenko is definitely going to show up.
I truly believe we're going to see the best Teofimo Lopez show up that fight. I know after speaking to Arnold Barboza, even before he got the Ramirez fight, before he got any of the big fights, he always team Barboza always wanted that Teofimo Lopez fight. Can a fighter want something too much where it throws him off his rhythm and off his thinking? Can he overreact? Can that happen? Is that possible in a big event like this?
I can't speak for everybody, but what I can say is I don't witness people want something so much they hyperventilate. And I'm talking about
Yes.
these are like gym junkies, and they in their tip top shape, but come round two, it's like they have no gas in their gas tank because they're
Yeah.
hyperventilated. The lights done got too bright for them or something. I don't know. It's just like they just did something to them. Now, I can't say that's going to happen to Teofimo Lopez. I'm really not a true fan of Barbosa, so I got to go with the home team.
Okay.
But may the
Okay.
best man win. What I do
There you go.
love and honor most importantly is the art.
Absolutely.
Gotta love the art of this profession.
Absolutely. I was talking to Bill Haney had a few words to say, and he addressed them to one of the public figures that was out there. One of the commentators, and he said what he had to
Okay.
say. I reached out to the commentator today. I said, "Hey, how's it going?" I said, "Good job out there," because he has that job to do. And I invited him out there. I said, "Hey, I'd like to have you on the show one day." And he said, "Man, my DM is blowing up. I got like 40 plus, and they all want to hear about it." And I said, "I don't even want to hear about it. I just want to talk boxing. I want to ask you so you can tell the world how you got started. I'm not trying to say, hey, what happened? What did Bill Haney say? I'm not going to have him on the show to do that. I'm not going to ambush him. I just want to talk about, let's talk about boxing, the matchups. How'd you get your job? The best job in the world. What got you inspired in boxing?" That's what I wanted to ask him. But a lot of people, they become, I don't want to say defensive. They just got to be careful in how they address themselves on returning, how can I say, a comment, because he handled himself pretty good, because Bill laid into him. He said, "Man, basically, you're a piece of shit." Boom, on air over and over again. And, the man kept his composure.
Wow.
Todd kept his composure. So it is what it is. I reached out to Bill too. I've had Bill on the show too. I love Bill. I love what he does for the sport. And a lot of people want to call him this or that. Hey, he has his son's back. When it's all said and done, he has his kids back, his son's back. And that's
You
the next fight
definitely do.
I want to talk to you about. Jose Ramirez taking on Devin Haney. What's your take, and who's going to win and why?
Now, the same Devin Haney that fought Ryan Garcia pops up, I will have some questions. Because I really don't care who win, but because you asked, what's my intake?
Yes.
I'm going to be real. Devin Haney, he got enough skills to pull his fight out. But me and him already had words. I don't really care about if he win or lose. But to answer your question, I'm going to say he got the skills to beat this guy. If he come in shape, and like I said before, his focus span is from round 1 to 12 or 10. I don't know how many rounds they're going. Does 12? It's 12 rounder, right?
Yes, it's a 12 rounder. It's actually the
Okay,
co-main
so
event. Yeah.
so if he stayed mentally focused from round 1 to 12, he can pull it out if he come in shape, and not take any stupid chances. Get his dude a boxing lesson. He could do it. Like, he could do it. A lot of times he just get lined up with fighters in front of him, and I feel like he questioned himself.
Now, Jose Ramirez, what does Jose Ramirez have to do to be successful? If you were to give him advice, what advice would you give him to be successful in that fight?
Be poised. Be poised. It's something that me and my family, when I say we use this term, weather the storm. Now, what we mean by weathering the storm is you got chaos and then you have controlled chaos. And controlled chaos goes hand in hand with weathering the storm. And weathering the storm is like you got twigs, dirt, a whole lot of debris from nature. Probably had some cans, some rain, and all of that. All of this terrain that I'm describing
Yes.
is equivalent to a person just throwing all of these punches. You just and you catching, letting it roll off the shoulder, ducking, tucking, sliding in, smothering, blocking the shots, and then you still finding that small sweet spot, small subtle shots, touching to the body, clean, sharp, precise, showing precision in your punches, and not being worried at the fact that he's just throwing all of these punches. You just feel punches hitting your gloves and stuff, and a lot of people, they emotionalize when it happens. So they feel like, oh man, he throwing all these punches. I gotta throw something. I'm gonna throw punches back. So now y'all both just emotionalizing instead of staying poised and being precise.
I
So
agree
to
with you.
him, I would say stay poised, show precision, and apply pressure.
Jose's going to need that pressure. He's going to have to cut the ring off. He's going to have to invest early into the body. I don't care if you got to hit the hips,
Early.
hit the hips. If you got to get a point warning, get the warning. But you got to let him feel you, even if you got to hit the chest. And Devin
That's
Haney,
simple. It's that simple. That's simple. You gotta make them feel you. Gotta make them
Exactly.
feel you because Devin Haney, all of his fights, if you really pay attention, he he took off immediately from the starting line. He took
Yep.
off and he made people kind of like fall into his game by being a boxer, a smart boxer,
Yeah.
and him being in shape was kind of like the best help that ever gave him. Like that's what he needed. He needed to be in shape to pull the things off that he do because he's not like a drastic puncher.
You know, his coming out party to me was his victory over Regis Prograis. I mean, he looked sharp, showed some pop, his angles, and I mean, he reminded me of a modern day Donald Curry. Just the way he moved around back in the day. Terry Norris, the way he moved around so gracefully, but had that puncher boxer, that boxer puncher still had that pop in him. What happened with him and Ryan was what happened. I mean, who knows? Only they know. If things go right, they can run it back, or if not, then they won't. I think
Right.
people can't overlook Devin Haney at the end of the day. They really can't. They can say what they want. There's going to be a lot of questions being answered May 2nd. How does he react to someone that applies pressure? And does he just want a victory, or does he want to look sensational? Does he want to put his name back in the mix with all the big dogs?
Yeah, that's up to him. That's as much as Bill Haney love his son. That's not even
Yeah,
up to Bill Haney. Now you can
I
prepare
agree.
your son to do
Yes,
all the things that you trying to prepare him to do and bring to life, but it's up to your son to do it.
I
Period.
I I agree. I would agree. Before we go forward, before I even ask you, bro, I would love to see you against Isaac Cruz, just because of the style. I'm just saying that
Oh,
right now. I would
I wouldn't
love to
mind. I
see
wouldn't
that
mind. I
fight.
wouldn't mind. Hey, he got a title. Isaac Cruz got what he got? He don't got nothing.
No, no, he just finished up. No, he just finished up his last fight. He was in a tough fight himself. But I'm talking about the styles. I would love to see that. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I would love to see you and Arnold Barboza.
You naming some juicy fights. You know, I don't mean juicy just because it's gonna be action packed. I feel like all of my fights anyway is action packed fights. You know, but
Yeah,
I'm saying you bringing up fights that make sense.
they do make sense for you. They
You might as
do.
well say cha-ching. You might as well say
Absolutely.
cha-ching. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Cha-ching. But it makes sense.
Absolutely.
The
That's what it's all
crowd will
about.
love
That's
it.
the business. That's
I
all
wouldn't
about the
mind fighting
business.
the Isaac Cruz. You know, like I said, you're not the first one to ask about Rayo getting a rematch. I said, I mean, I wouldn't mind
Yeah.
giving a rematch, but not right away. That's ridiculous. That don't even make sense. I
If he gets a
definitely, I
scrap or something,
definitely want Alberto Pollo. I definitely want him. I'm
that'd be
trying.
good.
I'm going for all of the titles,
That's a good matchup. I'd like to see you and Devin Haney. There's a lot of fights
man.
out there for you. I don't know who your manager
I
is,
would.
I don't know who your manager is or your agent, but bro, this is your time today, right now. There's no more easy fights for you. It's
I don't look at
You're
no
already
fights
there.
as easy.
You're already there. You jacked up in a good way because there is no going back. All your fights are pay per view. All your fights are big fights. All your fights are where everybody knows your name, where you become a household name. So
Man, I'm ready to
it's
whoop
all
some
on you right
ass.
now.
That's
It's all
that's
about
all
you
I'm
and
saying.
legacy.
I'm ready to kick some ass, man. Just make it make sense. I don't care. Make it make sense and line them up. I know fighting Alberto Pollo will make sense, and that's something that I want. I know fighting
I'd love to
Teofimo
see that fight.
Lopez will make sense, and depending on how this conversation go with me and him, make me it might make me want it a little more. I don't
It might
know.
make more sense. Yeah, it
Yeah, it
might make
might
more
make
sense.
more sense. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like Isaac Cruz coming up to 40, or we might meet at a catch weight. Never know how would that go. I wouldn't mind fighting him. It makes sense. And
Yeah,
these are
yeah,
action-packed fights. These are opponents that will bring the attention and the crowd. Everyone would want to see it. Who wouldn't want to see a good, juicy fight?
absolutely, absolutely,
You
and I
know.
agree.
Now,
I
Devin
agree with
Haney,
you.
hell with Devin Haney, to be honest. Personally, hell with him because he said a lot of stuff out of his mouth that was disrespectful That's why I said in the beginning, I don't really care if he win or lose. But because you asked me to give my input on how I see the fight going between the two and the fight styles and stuff like that. I gave my input.
That's fair. That's fair. And I wouldn't have it any other way. The sport has changed. And when I say the sport has changed, because you no longer just got the fighters. You have the fathers. You have the Teofimo Lopez's dads, the Bill Haney's, Ryan Garcia's dad.
Right.
Russ's father is very involved and very vocal. There's a lot of fighters out there now, and that seems to be the new market. That seems to be the new attention to the sport of boxing.
Okay.
What's your take
What I'm
on?
hearing is family oriented.
Yeah,
Family
exactly.
oriented. That's what's new attention being directed towards. The family oriented because you got a lot of fighters. We call them gym hoes. I mean, you done been to this gym, that gym, that gym, this gym, that gym, and now you stationary with this gym. And now this coach is taking all the credibility from all the rest of these coaches that done put their 2 cents into you. You know what I mean? Out of all of the father-son relationships, how many of them do you see with brother and brother?
I mean, I know they're very close to their kid. Is what I'm asking. It brings excitement to an already exciting sport. It really does. I see Teofimo's dad very vocal. Ryan Garcia's dad when he needs to be. When he put Eddie Hearn, gave let him know, hey, he put him in check. And then you have Bill Haney, very vocal. And I see Arnold Barboza Sr., who's also the trainer of Arnold Barboza, quiet as can be, just focuses on business. Is there a different reaction when your dad trainer is very loud? Does it push the son over? Or would you rather have them, kind of real quiet, real poised? How does that help? And
Every
how does
relate
how
every
interact
every
fighters?
relationship is different now. Yeah, every
Okay.
every relationship is different now. You gotta factor that in. What I
Okay.
could say as far as dad and fighter relationship is no better comfort than having your dad there
I heard
versus
that.
having some person that you never knew that you got to now trust when this guy is throwing the hardest punches you ever felt at your cranium and you looking outside the ring for some advice. Are you going to trust this stranger or are you going to trust your father?
That's right.
You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
honestly just that simple. It makes the transition easier. The transition to listening, transition to executing. Now, I can say you do have some trainers out there that aren't fathers, but because the bond is so good, they've been around so long, you can kind of look at them as family. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
man, it's been my coach since my junior years. I mean, he's
Yeah.
family. So your level of willingness, your level of vulnerability, all of these things is now it's an open door, and then they help you make that transition a lot more easier. But it's better to have a father there.
You know what? You gave me a different answer than most, and I like yours because yours is real, and I could feel that it's real. So I appreciate that answer. I do. I just thought to myself, okay, he's going to say what everybody else says, and no, you you said it from a personal level and how you feel, and unless you got one of those trainers that have been with you since day one, like Emmanuel Stewart with Tommy the Hitman Hearns. I mean, their bond is just and you still have a couple of them. Um,
Right.
I mean, look at Robert Garcia with Bam Rodriguez. I mean, he's had him since he was 9 and 10, and his brother Joshua Franco. So you see that
Mhm.
bond, you see that father figure, you see that comfort zone.
All I could do is give you the real man. I'm not about to fabricate nothing for you. Just
Nah.
because I'm on this podcast, Richard, don't mean I'm gonna turn fake on you, my man. You
No,
feel
I
me?
I appreciate you too, man. And a big shout out to my man Sam Watson, man, true gentleman. entrepreneur of the sport, knows his
Yes,
boxing,
yes,
knows his
yes.
connections. And I've had him on the show before, and he actually said, "Richard, this is my first podcast I've ever done." So for him to give me that honor, and it's not going to be his last either, because I told him that. He said, "Oh no, we got some more to talk about." So
Oh man, that man crazy. He crazy good though. Crazy good
yeah,
though.
yeah.
And I
No,
like
he
it,
is
man.
crazy
I
good.
like it. That's my guy.
He is crazy good. And I've done some top rank events, some Golden Boy events. To this day, I've not been able to do a PVC event. I want to do some PVC events. I want to do some more coverage in PVC. I want to balance it out because we've had guests on here from Australia. We had to address their time all over the world because Antoine, a lot of people close to me think that because I'm Mexican, that all I'm going to do is have Mexican guests. They assume that, or even my friends assume that. And I've said, hey, I'm going to have them, but I'm in it to win it. I'm going worldwide. I have everybody on the show.
And you
Everybody on
better
the
come
show.
that way.
Oh, you have to. There's no other choice. It's the
There you
sport of
go.
boxing. It's not the sport of Mexico. It's not the sport of Australia. It's not the sport. It's the sport of boxing, which is worldwide. Why do you think they put the world on top of the belts? Because it's worldwide. And I'd like to make that
Right,
clear
right.
sometimes because people just assume. They think, okay, well, he's over here. He's man. My favorite fighter of all time is Tommy the Hitman Hearns, and he's far from being Mexican. But he loves Mexican people. I'm just keeping it
Man,
100, keeping it real.
he
I
was the truth. That was the guy.
Tommy at 147 was unbeatable. Unbeatable. You're talking about a person who only lost a couple of rounds, and even when he fought Sugar Ray Leonard, he was in the fight completely. In both fights, Tommy Hearns is, the jab, the hook to the body, that right hand, and didn't get enough credit for his boxing ability because they wanted to see him smash. But Tommy was everywhere. Everywhere. One of the best fighters of all time to go from 147 all the way up to 190 pounds. That's insane. That's crazy.
And was still knocking stuff out. Stop playing with this
Oh, yes,
man.
yes, he was.
Nah,
He was,
he was the
he was
truth. And that's why I
he was
study a lot of the older fighters anyway. They just had a different
and you
level of
should.
tenacity. A different level of tenacity and passion.
I'm going to ask you this, and I'm glad you said you studied the older fighters. In a dream match, Antoine Russell versus who? Any decade, anybody in history, or even today, who would you love to share the ring with in a dream match?
That's a great question, man. That's a great question, man. Oh, and I got too many. I got too many heavy hitters. I want to say Roberto Duran. I
Ooh,
want to say. I want to say McCormick.
okay, okay.
Like I want to say Iju Ben. Like come on, you got a couple
Nigel
of
Ben,
Sugar Ray
Nigel
Leonard,
Ben.
Nigel Ben. I said Iju, Nigel Ben. I mean,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
come on, he was knocking
yeah.
stuff out. Cole Holyfield, even though he was out of my weight division. Then you had the real nasty James Toney. Now James Toney had a
Oh
nasty
yeah,
attitude. He had a nasty attitude. Conroy
yeah,
Jones,
yeah,
the best highlights of all time. Come on,
yeah.
man.
Roy Jones. Yeah.
Really, really, these are like icons to me. They're like icons to me.
If I could pick one for you, I would love to see you share the ring with Pernell Whitaker.
Pernell. Oh my God. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Just so you could test
Yeah.
yourself because he's a mystery. How his angles, his movement, Pernell and yeah, Pernell's one of the greats by
Pernell
far.
was that dude. Pernell was
Yes, he
that
was.
dude. Honestly, he was the one that in the modern that was really starting to hit people with like triple hooks, uppercuts, and moving all of the swift movement from the area.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
yeah. And then you
Those
had
two
Too
fights he
Sharp
had
Mark
in the dirt.
Johnson. You had Too
Oh
Sharp
yeah, Too
Mark
Sharp.
Johnson.
Yeah, yeah,
That
Too
was
Sharp.
they was
Yeah,
kind of like resembling each other.
yeah, a little bit. I see that.
Right, a little bit. That's what I'm saying. So it's like
I say that because I like Too Sharp Johnson too. But Pernell, man, his
Pernell
movement.
was a bad boy.
I mean, you couldn't
He's a
find
bad
smarter
boy.
stimulator. Yeah, and
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's a you asking a loaded question right there. That's a loaded
well, I'm
one.
glad I
I
got you
wouldn't even
thinking.
pick nobody from my generation. I wouldn't pick nobody from my generation. But that's a loaded question. I gotta get back in touch with you on that one.
Hey, I do. Yes, you do. That means you got to come on the show later on sometime. Now, before I let you go, I'm just going to go ahead and ask you this. I'm sure you get this question a lot. Everybody's asking this
What's that?
question. And before you give an answer, break it down why. And there's a lot of factors, Bud Crawford moving up 2 weights. Canelo, is he overlooking him? There's a I'm curious to see it. So who do you have in that fight? And what do you think about the matchup?
Okay.
Canelo and Bud Crawford.
I'm gonna dissect it for you.
Okay.
This is my honest
That's what I
opinion,
want.
professional opinion. I'm gonna go with Canelo. Just throw that out there. But you got Bud Crawford, who shown that his chin is suspect. He redeemed himself by showing that he can take a punch by when he fought Earl Spence, because Earl Spence caught him with a clean shot, and it really didn't have no effect on him, which is good. But a lot of people saying Earl Spence was hurt anyway. If you look at the media workout, he was stumbling over his own foot.
I was
Like,
there, and I'm going to interrupt you real quick. I was there. He was struggling with his weight.
exactly. So he wasn't all there. And he just bouncing back off the accident. You did what you're supposed to do. Not taking away nothing from Bud Crawford. You did what you're supposed to do. If they put somebody in front of you, get them up out of there. Not supposed to be in there with you, But as far as your abilities, Bud, I feel like he's freakishly a good fighter, but I don't think he has the chin. I don't think he has the power, the true power to move up that many weight divisions and keep this guy up off your ass. Now, the most I can think about is Canelo Alvarez versus Lara, right?
Yep. I
Now,
know where you're
Lara,
going. I know where you're going, and I
Lara
know what happened.
put on a boxing clinic.
Yep.
I believe Terrence Crawford, he can do the same because he got that ability. He got that freakishly good ability. He can do it,
Yeah.
but he cannot take no chances. He cannot get pretty. He can't. Oh man, I'm winning this fight. No,
No.
he cannot do that. He got to fight like how Laura fought him. He got to come in shape. He got to be smart and make sure he got his chin tucked at all times. One thing that I can say towards Canelo, just like Floyd Mayweather, just like Laura, they taught him a lesson. He learned from that shit. Anybody that you line up with him now, whether it was a boxer or whether it was a brawler, whether it was a bunch of boxers, he was getting them up out of there. Whether it was the seventh round, the eighth round, the
Yeah.
11th round, he was getting them up out of there. I feel like Canelo Alvarez is coming to his own now, not just Mexican, Puerto Rican, or Puerto Rican fighter style, but just understanding how fighting works, the art itself. He understanding, and
Yeah.
that alone, he's naturally a bigger guy. He's coming to fight. He's coming to hurt. And he's prepared from being to being, round 1 to 12. No matter how it goes, he will be on Terrence Bud Crawford like stink on shit.
I hear you
He
there. That's
want
very clear on that.
he gonna have to do something to keep him up off of him. Terrence Bud Crawford gonna have to do something to keep him up off of him. If not, he will apply pressure, impose his will, impose his power, and he will feel it. He will feel it. It showed with Amir Khan, because Amir Khan fought a speedy, fast guy,
Yeah.
real good with his hands creativity, punch placement and stuff like that, sharp too. And he came in shape. The difference is he had a suspect chin.
Yeah.
Canelo was getting touched up. He said, all right, I see where he going wrong at. I'm about to feint downstairs and I'm gonna throw this hard one upstairs. And that's what he did. Feint downstairs, lined him up. Fight was over. Fight was over. Now it's gonna be something identical just like that if Terrence don't keep this guy away from him and land some clean shots to make him respect him. He going to have to. Going to have to. But other than that, I'm going with Canelo Alvarez.
I love the way you broke it down. I mean, you broke it down real. You didn't break it down by any race. You didn't break it down by any favoritism. You broke it down the way boxing should be broken down. You gave the angles. You gave the what each fighter needs to do, and what is capable of happening, but what each fighter needs to do to be successful. And I love that. You got a future in that, actually, and breaking down fights, because I talk to fighters and they'll dabble in it a little bit, but they'll kind of move along. But you broke it down.
This is me being a connoisseur. You got a future that. This is just me being a connoisseur of the sport, of the art, and I see what's out there. That's why it's easy to really dissect an opponent.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you still got to be prepared, well prepared, mentally, physically, and you got to execute. You can have a game plan, but if you don't execute the game plan, what's good is the plan? What good is the plan? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. What's good? Just having the money in your wallet if you're not going to spend it, on something that you truly want. On something you truly want. Now, listen, man. I want you to get some more followers and supporters. I can't find you on Instagram or Twitter. Do you have a handle? Let everybody know how they can stay in touch with the new champ.
Oh, man, I got a fan page, Gary A. Russell, and I got a personal page that's Gary Russell with 5 L's. If y'all want to find me, y'all can find me there on social media. I got Twitter. That's a fan page, Twitter. I have, Facebook. I don't get on there. But I do have a fan page, Facebook page, but I would prefer y'all to reach out to me on those two Instagram pages, Gary A. Russell and Gary Russell with 5 L's. That's all together. And you would get me.
Well, I was tagging you and I was posting that the champ would be on the show. Antoine Russell would be on there. See, I called you Antonio. See, I'm thinking Mexicano right now.
Antoine, it's all right. It's all right, man. It's all right, man. I go with that. You want to call me Tito? Tito.
There you go, man. See, I'm already at home with you. You know what I mean?
That's good, man. That's how it's supposed to be.
Absolutely.
There you go. What does it say? Me la familia.
Yeah, that's right. Mi familia, tu familia.
There we go.
Exactly. Well, I want to thank our guests, ladies and gentlemen. Our guests, the new WBA super lightweight champion of the world, Antoine Russell, who's looking to show not just people around, but the entire world, the entire nation, just how bad of a man this guy is once he's inside the ring. And you can follow our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/thefightersvoice. Remember, every fighter has a voice, and so do you. As always, it's a wrap. Thumbs up for Richie.
Okay, fight fans, it's not goodbye, but until next week. Remember, it's always voiceography at its finest. So on behalf of Richard Ortiz, the special guests, saying hasta luego, babies. And always, thanks for listening.